Hello, everyone. Welcome to Frank in Action, our YouTube channel. So, this is 2023, and I think it's better that we're going to start with uploading very significant and very important um, tools that our participants and aspirants could, use for their application in Native Camp. So, in this video, guys, I had received a lot of feedback that this time Native Camp is providing different way of doing demonstration. Before we're just doing the grammar lesson, but this time they're not focusing on the daily news. This is because most of our students now are very into taking lessons daily news textbook. So that is why. So in this video also, please take note that this will be just a first phase of our video about daily news. We'll be focusing in this video how you're going to conduct or how you're going to use the words and phrases part of your textbook. Of course, the basic one, you have to introduce yourself. You have to say, Welcome to Native Camp, especially when you're doing demo lessons. But personally, when I do my own and personal lessons, I don't have to do that, especially if I'm going to check the student's history. He or she has been, taking lessons at Native Camp. Instead, I just welcome back or hi, my name is Frank. Can you hear and see me? I just do that, but I tried to avoid doing welcome to Native Camp. But again, for the demo lessons, you have to do that. Please take note also that you can check the learning kit tools when you try to apply. Make sure to keep on watching that video. I think I suggest you're gonna watch it for 5 or 10 times so that you could have uh, solid foundation on how you're going to conduct the lesson or how you're going to get the demo lesson positive result. Okay, so again, we are going to focus on how we are going to conduct lessons, daily news, especially in the words and phrases. Are you ready? Let's start. All right, so this time we're going to move on and checking one of the videos that NativeCam is providing to us so we could be able to have um, information on how we are going to conduct the lesson here at NativeCamp. So let's
Native
check this.
Camp. This is the tutorial video which will show you how to teach daily news textbook.
All right, so as what I've said, we are going to focus on how we are going to do the lesson, focusing on the words and phrases, okay?
You are now in the Words and Phrases section, the third step in handling daily news textbook. There are 2 points that you should remember for this section. First, checking the purpose of this section, and second, knowing how to proceed with this section.
All right, so this video also is available in our platform, so you could actually check this one. And I will be providing also some feedback on how you are going to proceed this lesson. This would be my personal ideas on how I conduct lessons in this textbook. Okay.
Let's begin with the first point. In the Words and Phrases section, you will find some terms used in the article on the current lesson. Usually, the expressions found here are words that are difficult to understand or are uncommon. Listen to the American and British audios together with your student for the pronunciation of each word.
All right, so please take note that you have here a button. This would be like the volume icon. You can just click that one and you will be able to hear the American accent. And for the British accent, you could click this one. So later you will be seeing how this student um, participate in this lesson.
The definitions and sample sentences are provided as well for the student's better understanding of the words. Unlike most textbooks,
All right. So let's just have a quick check. Okay. So most of the time, I think you could check the textbook like this and you will see the scripting here. It is not necessary that you're going to read this one. It's just a guide. These are just guides for you to be more familiar of how you're going to conduct the lesson. So most of our textbook here at Native Camp, the script, the red scripts are actually located in this part, but this time it is actually located in the right hand side on your screen next to your um, video. So what you just need to do is just, if you're not yet familiar in how you can conduct this, just keep on checking the scripting in this side. Okay, let's proceed.
The red and blue colored instructions in daily news are found on the right side of the textbook. To start with the lesson, read the instruction to the student that says, "We are going to study daily news in this lesson." The title is "How the Japanese Refuse to Slow Down with Age."
All right. So as you notice, the speaker there, the narrator, directly tells you to just proceed with the scripting. But again, for the demo lesson, what you need to do is to really uh, check the audio, the camera, those kind of things. So of course, the scripting sounds like this. Uh, Welcome to NativeCamp. This is Teacher Frank. Can you hear and see me well? And then you have to wait. Okay. And then after that, we are going to study daily news in this lesson. The title is How the Japanese Refuse to Slow Down with Age. So, in that way, you have to make sure that not to directly proceed with the scripting. You have to make sure that during the demo lesson, you have to start with that scripting first. You have to make sure that your audio, your camera is clear from your student. Okay, let's continue.
Then, introduce this section by saying, "Let's have words and phrases. Let's learn some of the words that are used in the article. Let's have the first word. I'll play the audio for US pronunciation once. Please listen to the audio well. Make sure you only click the play button once for each pronunciation."
All right. So there are some instances also that, during your lesson, the student would request for you to click the button again so he or she could hear it. There are some cases that the student would not notice that he can actually do that in his end. But if the student asks you to do so, please just proceed in clicking it again. Okay?
You have chosen daily news article, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so the title for today's lesson is How the Japanese Refuse to Slow Down with Age. Now, let's have words and phrases. Let's learn
Okay.
some of the words that are used in the article. So let's have the first word. I'll play the audio for UK and US pronunciation once.
Mhm.
Please listen to the audio well. It starts now.
Okay.
All right. So as you notice, teacher Aya here is just reading the article or the scripting. Of course, this is a demo thing, but I know that teacher Aya is really well informed on how she should conduct this, especially for her what I call this one, avid students. So as what I've said, the best thing that you have to do when you start here at Native Camp is just, follow the guidelines, follow the scripting if you're not yet sure on how you're gonna proceed this, and later on you could be able to make your own alibi, make your lesson much fun and not so monotonous.
Documentary.
Documentary.
All right. So as you notice also that each audio the student also repeat, okay, but it is not necessary. Okay, if you did not hear your student repeating the audio or the word, it's okay. All right, the main focus here is that to make the student hear how he should pronounce those words. One of the main motivation of doing that is to respect their motivation, not to feel because as what I've said, as what the audio is telling, I mean the video telling here, that we are trying to introduce words that perhaps not so um, usual for our students. So perhaps it could be difficult for him to pronounce the word or not familiar about the word like that. So just let them repeat it if they want to, or if not, just review it later. Okay, just take note of the words that he or she doesn't repeat. Okay.
Documentary.
Documentary.
After listening to the pronunciation, proceed to read the meaning of the word to the student by saying, I'll read the definition to you.
All right. So in this part, what you just need to do is to read the meaning. Okay, it is not necessary that the student will repeat after you read the definition of the word, only in the example sentence. So as what I've said a while ago, when he was listening to the audio or how you're going to read a word both in American accent and British accent, it's not necessary that he should repeat it. Why? It's because after you reading this definition, you are actually discreetly telling your student or allowing your student read the word by repeating the reading of the example sentence.
The next step is reading the example sentence together with your student. Read the red colored instruction. Let's read the example sentence. Repeat after me once.
All right, I'll read the definition to you. It is a film, a television, or radio program that gives information about a subject and is based on facts. Now, let's read the example sentence. Please repeat after me once.
Okay.
The documentary
The
presented us with a
documentary
balanced
presented
view
us
of
with a
the
balanced
issue.
review of the issue.
Very good.
All right. So as you notice in this video, the student is actually doing shadowing. Okay. So it is not really necessary. Okay, you can actually just finish reading it and you let your student repeat after you read the sentence. Okay, so perhaps the student had really wider experience about Callan lesson, so that's why he was doing that. But technically what you just need to do is to let the student wait after you read the example sentence. Okay.
In the model video, the student repeated the sentences following the teacher's words like shadowing. But in the original flow, the student waits for the teacher to read the sentences until the end and then repeats them later. This student's way is different from the original flow, but you don't have to correct the student in order to respect his motivation.
All right. So if that happened, you don't have to tell your student that, he should not do that. Actually, it's a good thing. It's an advanced way of, participating in that lesson. So it's kudos to the student. So you don't have to tell your student you should not do that. Okay. So take note to that.
Now you're finished with the first word. Move on to the next word by saying, okay, let's have the second word.
So after that one, what you need to do is to proceed to the next word. So after documentary, you're gonna move on to the next word. Same process. So if the student will do that the shadowing way, then let him do it. Okay. So, but again, the best way that you have to do is to let your student and respect the motivation of your student to conduct the lesson. Daily news is considered as one of the advanced classes here at Native Camp. So they are actually putting their effort, their all, so that it will become very, very amazing lesson with you, right? So let the student experience the lesson with you and make the student feel satisfied and fulfilled in learning the English language through this textbook. All right.
Please listen to the audio and do the same flow for the other words in the box. When you're done with the last word, check if your student understands everything by asking, Great! Do you have any questions?
Very good. Do you have any questions?
Nothing?
Okay, let's.
All right. So in this part, asking your student if they have any questions, sometimes it sounds very redundant because you keep asking that question, but make it as a habit in asking that question. Why? It's because it gives you the what do you call this one? The authority of making your student, understand, even if, they are just saying yes or not. It means that their understanding is very important for you as a teacher. So keep on asking that question. All right.
Let's move on to the next part,
Mm-hmm.
comprehension.
All right. So we are done with that part, daily news in the words and phrases phase. So one thing that is very important there is you have to follow the flow. But in some cases, our students are also a little bit, uh, want to get rid of the system on how they're gonna conduct the lesson. Well, in my case, this is just my own and personal way of conducting the lesson, and I hope it can help you. But if it doesn't work for you, then just continue and then finish the lesson. Well, the most important thing there is, for example, I know that the student is capable of talking, capable of understanding English. uh Most of the time, what I do is, like, I ask the question, like, do you understand, do you have any questions? And the student would say, yes, I understand and I don't have any questions. Well, after that, most of the time, what I do is I ask the student to make their own sentences out from that one. Well, what I do is like this. All right. Thank you for confirming that you understand those words and phrases. To check your understanding, I will give you a challenge. So I will be choosing two or three words out from these words and phrases. Please make sentences. The challenge is, please make one sentences of this specific phrase. The word is documentary. So after that, then if I notice that the student is capable of answering or making their own sentence, I will make the second challenge. All right. I think you did well in that example sentence. Now, I want you to make sentences. I want you to make one sentence out of these two words. So, meaning the student will be making one sentence, only one sentence or a story that will allow him to use the two words I choose in that given words and phrases. So, in that way, my student would, uh, feel great because he was able to accomplish even if we are not yet starting our lesson. So this is also a good way of assessment. It's just my own and personal opinion. This is also one way of understanding where your student is in his level of English conversation or speaking, and then you will be able to have great picture already when you start listening to the audio and later on in the comprehension and also discussion part. So again, guys, we'll be talking about comprehension and discussion later. So make sure to click the subscribe button and also the ring bell button so you'll be notified in our next video. So please take note, we'll be having phase two for the daily news. Thank you for watching. This is again Teacher Frank here in Frank in Action. Have a great day.